it's Clarissa here. I'm the founder of this group. And today I want to talk about the compound effect. So, this looks super cute, huh? These are the balloons that I got for Mother's Day. And my life coach that I personally work with sent me a bottle of champagne to celebrate a milestone that I'm about to hit within my company as an academic life coach. And speaking of that, this week I have been on multiple phone calls with students who are interested in hiring me to be their life coach for the summer term and for the fall term. And in the conversation that I've been having with students, what I've noticed is a lot of them are scheduling these calls because they've hit this point in their educational journey, their educational experience, where they're sort of just sick and tired of failing classes, of being in school for extended periods of time. Some of them, like their fifth year, sixth year, seventh year, quote unquote seniors, they've been in school for a really long time. They're tired of having to sacrifice time with their kids in order to do college, and they're really at their breaking point. And when I hop on the phone with these students, and even for those of you who are inside of this group, I'm sure that the reason why you're here is because you're trying to look for resources and strategies to help you with managing your time, with reading, with doing better inside of your classes, and you've sort of hit a wall. And the students that I've been talking to are really obsessed with learning the how of becoming a good student. They're really obsessed with learning the how of getting an A. They're obsessed with knowing the how of managing their time. They're obsessed with knowing the how of building a study routine. And I have all of those things, like the step-by-step processes, exactly how to manage your time. I've filmed multiple videos on time management. I've filmed multiple videos on study routines. I've filmed multiple videos on reading strategies. I've filmed multiple videos on study routines. And I go above and beyond when students reach out to answer all their questions and to give them the how. But here's what happens in our mind whenever you see someone achieve something that you want. So I went from failing out of 7 classes and being told to my face by my advisor that I would never make it in the medical field, that I was not smart enough to succeed, to graduating my program with honors while working 2 jobs, being in the relationship that I'm in with my husband, building this business, filming YouTube videos. I had a lot going on in my life, and I was able to do it by just studying 2 hours a day. And I feel like a lot of people hear my story and they get really inspired by it. They get really inspired by the other students who I've helped and supported in their testimonials. And they want to know how. How did you do it? How are your students doing it? And when we hear the how, something happens to students. They're inspired and they're motivated by it, but there's also this level of disbelief that sort of sets in. And the disbelief isn't in the strategy that I teach my students. It isn't in me. The disbelief is actually in themselves, right? So they don't know whether or not it's possible for them. And because they don't know if it's possible for them, they don't ever really do much with the information that they're seeing in the YouTube video, the information that they're seeing inside of this Facebook group. They don't really do much with me sending voice notes and all of that in direct message and in private messenger here on Facebook, because although they are inspired by the story, they're motivated by it, they really want it to be them, they don't see how it's going to be possible for them, because they're thinking, well, my life isn't like them. I don't have this going on. I'm a mom of 5. I have this going on in my life. I've always been bad at math, so there's no way that I'm going to be able to pass this math class with that strategy. And they discount themselves ahead of time. And the reason why this happens is because they're looking to their past experiences and their current experience to give them evidence that it's possible for them. But when you look back at your past and you look at your current circumstances, You don't have evidence for what is possible. You have evidence for all the reasons why it's not possible. And so when you do that, of course, you're going to give up. Of course, you're not going to try as hard enough. Of course, you're going to repeat past patterns because you're looking at your past to give you evidence for why it's possible, but the evidence isn't there because you've never done it before, okay? So this is the thing that like F's students up all the time. Like, it is this idea that if I've never been able to do it before, if I've failed before, then it means that I can't do it in the future. It means that I don't have the skills, I don't have the requirements, etc. Here is what I want you to know, and that's the title of this live stream. Smart enough is a lie. It doesn't actually exist. There is no measure for whether or not someone is smart enough to pass college or not smart enough to pass college. If you have a brain that is functioning, you're not in a coma or dead, then you have the ability and the capability to earn really great grades without having to study all of the time. The only thing standing in your way is you letting yourself achieve that, letting it be the case. Is everybody following me here? Because one of the things, and I'm just going to be like super blunt and honest here, and I'm just going to like talk from my heart. Most students, what I see, and at this point I've been a life coach for college students for 5 years. I've worked with over 425 plus students. And the thing that I see all of the time is that students are waiting. They're waiting until their life circumstance is perfect. They're waiting until they wake up one day and all of a sudden are this time management queen. They're waiting until the moment where it clicks and all of a sudden they're smart enough and they're good enough to do well in this class. And that moment never comes because success, whether it's academic or in your life, doesn't happen that way. You don't just automatically wake up and your life is completely different. You're the person that you wanted to be. That is not how things work. Things take time. Things take time. And the reason why they take time is because you have to build up the skill necessary. You have to put in the reps, you have to put in the practice to be the type of student who can earn A's and B's and only study 2 hours a day for their classes. You have to be willing to do what it takes. It has to be a decision that you make. Because smart enough is a lie. The way you become smart enough is by showing up like you believe that you're smart enough. Someone who believes that they're smart enough does the work. They do the reading. They take the notes. They plan out their time. They ask for help. They're going to tutoring. They're doing all of the things to help build up the skill so that they have the evidence for themselves that they're smart enough. But what I see so often is that students quit before that moment happens. And so this is where I'm going to lead into what is called the compound effect. Now, Facebook isn't showing me comments for some reason, but if you're here, I want you to engage in this as though I can see comments, because what I will do after this live stream is over is I will go into this group and answer any questions that came up. But does anyone know what the compound effect is? It's usually a financial term that is used, right? And basically what it means is that the effort that you put in, right? I'm going to go with the money term here. Right? If you put in a penny into the bank and it has compound interest, it means that every day that that penny is in the bank, it doubles in value. So In order for the compound effect to work, you first have to be willing to put in that penny. And then you have to wait for the compound interest to do its job. Time has to pass in order for that penny to double enough to become millions. So you put it in on day 1, and on day 2, it goes up to 2 pennies. On day 3, it goes up to 4 pennies again because it doubles. On day 4, it goes up to 8 pennies again because it doubles. On day 5, it goes up to 16 pennies because it doubles. And if it keeps doubling over time, you're going to end up with a shit ton of money. The skills that you need to learn as a student compounds in the same way. So everything you're doing counts and it matters, even if you're not seeing a quick turnaround. And that is the thing that most students need to understand, is that just because it's not working today, just because you didn't understand the concept today, doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to learn it and understand it in time for the exam. You have to let time do its job. You have to let the reps that you're putting in do its job. I call this the journey to becoming a good student, right? So if I put this up on the screen, hopefully that you can see it. Okay. So you putting in the reps, like putting in that penny into the bank. So what happens is students will go on YouTube, they'll find a video, a story about somebody who really inspires them and really motivates them. And they're like, oh my God, I relate so much to what it is that you're going through. That's exactly my experience. And you get so inspired by them going from being a bad student to being a good student. And that motivates you, that inspires you. And so you're like, okay, I'm going to do everything that they said. And you're like, this is going to be the best semester ever. Things are going to change. But what most students don't take into consideration is that in order for those efforts to compound into an A, you have to be willing to put in the reps. You have to put that first penny into the bank, which means at the beginning, you're actually going to be losing and sacrificing. And most students aren't willing to lose at the beginning. They're not willing to put in the effort at the beginning. They're not willing to do whatever it takes at the beginning because all they see is everything they're giving up. You putting that penny in the bank, you're not thinking, oh, this is going to compound. You're thinking about like, oh, I'm 1 penny poorer, or I'm $1 poorer. And that's the same way that students think about what they have to do in order to succeed as a student. And so what happens is they're all excited at the beginning of the semester. Then they realize, oh crap, I actually have to put money into this. I actually have to put skin in the game. I actually have to manage my time. I actually have to study. I actually have to do the reading. And all you're seeing is all the time that you're losing to studying. All you're seeing is all of the effort that you're using up. All you're seeing is everything that you have to give up and that you have to do to be a student. And guess what? Nothing has gone wrong when this happens. Remember, in order for the compound effect to work, in order for compound interest to work, you have to first put in that penny or that dollar. Otherwise, there's nothing to compound. So there's going to be a point in your journey to becoming a good student where you feel like you're losing a lot and that things aren't getting better. There's going to be a point when you're looking at the bank where you just put this penny in and you're just like, oh, it went up to 2 pennies. I'm not rich yet. Oh, it went up to 4 pennies. So what? I'm not rich yet. It's going to feel like it was a waste. It is normal to go through this process. This is a normal part of going from where you are right now to being a good student. But what happens with most people is that most students, is that they cannot hang on long enough to actually get to experience the compound effect because they quit. They quit when it gets hard. They quit when they start thinking, I'm sacrificing more than I'm getting out. They quit when they're like, I'm putting in all this effort and I'm not yet on the dean's list. I'm putting in all this time and I haven't yet graduated. Listen, everything you're putting in to this bank account of your success counts and it matters. It's going to compound as long as you don't pull the effort out. As long as you leave the money in the bank, as long as you don't withdraw your money It will compound over time into those $1 million. But if you start to withdraw your effort, you stop studying, you stop managing your time, you stop keeping up with the reading, you stop asking questions, you stop going on to tutoring, don't be surprised when you don't get to claim your A at the end of the semester. Don't blame the teacher. Don't blame the school for you quitting on yourself, for you withdrawing your money out of the bank. It wasn't the bank's fault. It's not the school's fault. It's not your professor's fault. It's not the class. It's not any of the things that you think is the reason why you're not succeeding. It's because you've hit what is called this pit of despair in the journey of becoming a good student, and you quit. And quitting looks so small, it doesn't look like dropping the class all of the time. Sometimes quitting looks like not opening your book for 2 weeks, not attending lecture anymore, not handing in your assignments on time, procrastinating, turning your camera off in Zoom or multitasking while you're in virtual lecture. When you're not showing up for your success 100%, that's considered quitting. It's a mini quit in my world, but it's still quitting. And if you quit, you're not putting in the money into the bank of your success, you're not putting in the effort into the bank of your A, don't be surprised when you go to the bank and you try to withdraw the money and it's not there because you never put it in. This moment right here, where it feels like you're giving a bunch and you're not getting a lot in return, where you're studying and the information is still complicated, you're studying and it feels like, oh, it's not getting any easier, and you're studying and you're managing your time and all of these things, and you're like, when is it going to happen for me? When is it going to feel easy? You got to keep going. The image that comes to mind for me is, there's a meme that goes around a lot where it's like this guy, there's two guys, one guy up here, one guy down here, and they're both kind of like chiseling away. And the guy at the bottom keeps going, like every chisel in his mind, he's like, I'm getting closer to the diamonds, I'm getting closer to the diamonds, I'm getting closer to the diamonds. And then the other guy quits like right before he's about to hit gold. Most students quit right before things are about to turn around for them in this semester. They stop putting in the effort, they stop showing up 100% because they can't get out of their own head. They can't stay in the dream and the vision that they have for themselves. They create all of these reasons and these stories for why they can't, instead of choosing to believe that they can and that what they're doing is working and that it's going to get better. If you can just leave the money in the bank, if you can just keep putting in the effort, if you can just not quit, exponential growth, exponential compounding. Your success, that A, is going to be inevitable. And then that confidence that you built in that one class is going to transfer over to your next class, and then your next class, and then your semester, and then your semester after that. And you're just going to get better and better and better, and you're going to feel more confident as a student. But most students can't get themselves past the point of the pit of despair. And that's where working with someone like me, a life coach, becomes super important, to give yourself that support. Because when you're in the drama, when you're in the mindset of like, I'm doing so much, it's not working, things are hard, I feel like I should just drop out, I should quit, I can't turn this around, you start to believe that all of that is true. You can't differentiate what is just like you being dramatic about it and what is actually fact and reality. And what I do for students is I get them to keep putting money in the bank, to leave their effort in the bank long enough for them to get the A. I promise you that the reason why you haven't already graduated yet, the reason why you can't make it through a program, the reason why you're struggling, the reason why you haven't realized all of the dreams that you had for yourself when you first applied to college has nothing to do with whether or not you're smart enough. Okay? That is not ever on the line. It's not ever in question. What is your commitment to yourself. Your commitment to you becoming the best version of yourself no matter what. And when I say no matter what, I mean no matter if you get pregnant mid-semester, no matter if you get sick mid-semester, no matter if something happens with your financial aid, no matter what is happening in your life, you're in the middle of a divorce, like you're committed to you. Because you know that this is a moment in time that's going to pass. And if you just wait it out, if you just keep showing up, if you just keep putting in the effort, time is going to pass. It's going to pass whether you quit or stay in the semester anyway. That's a given. So why don't you stay, put in the effort so that you can claim that A at the end? And if that's something that you struggle with, you're constantly in this all or nothing cycle, quitting and restarting, dropping class after class, you need to be working with me so that you can stop doing that. Let me be that support system that you haven't had up until this point. Let me help you hold the vision of what is possible for you. Let me help you learn the tools that you're going to need to navigate those hard moments. Navigate the moments where you want to quit. Navigate the moments where it feels like you're giving your all and you're not getting the same in return. Because those things happening doesn't mean anything has gone wrong. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. It just means that's what's happening as I'm going through the semester. And if you can just tell yourself the story, these are just events that are happening in my life and they don't dictate whether or not I pass this class and move on or get an A. If you can learn how to make that shift, anything that you want in life is yours. Everything you do right now matters and it counts. It's going to compound over time. You just have to stop quitting. You have to stop starting and stopping, because every time you pull your money and you're out of the bank, your quote unquote money out of the bank, every time you pull your effort back from the semester, you have to start over again. You're starting over again at 0 or at the 1 cent. And you have to wait for things to compound over time. If you can just get yourself to stay in it, if you can just get yourself past this point, look what is available for you. Exponential success. And that's what I help students do, is stay in it. Stop quitting, stop procrastinating, stop putting things off. We get it done. The way that I work with students is 4 months at a time. What that looks like is at the beginning of us working together, we set a goal for you. We create a plan for that goal. And we work towards that goal for 4 months. An entire semester, 16 weeks. What is going to happen from the moment that we set the goal and create the plan is time is going to pass and life is going to happen. Shit is going to inevitably hit the fan. What happens in between us setting the goal and creating the plan and you doing it, what we're doing every single week is keeping you in the game. Keeping your mind in the game, keeping you showing up every week, managing your time, doing the readings, keeping up, dealing with all the bullshit stories that your brain is going to tell you about why you can and can't, so that you can stay in the game, so that your money stays in the bank and it can compound over time until the end of the semester when you can claim that A. If that is something that you want to experience, my one-on-one academic life coaching spots are open. It's called Your Best Semester Yet. The investment is $3,500. There is a 4-month payment plan. It comes to $875 a month, and that's US dollars. I have 10 spots. 6 are already claimed, which means that there are 4 spots left. And my calendar currently has 6 students who are waiting to talk to me next week to claim those spots. Not everybody's going to be a yes on that call. So do not let that hold you back from scheduling a call with me. What I will do at the end of this live stream, if this is something that you're interested in, is I will drop the link to book a call with me so that you can get on my calendar and we can talk about where you're at right now, why it is that you keep quitting and pulling all your effort out of the semesters, and what it's going to take for you to stay in it, and how I can help you do that. So if this is something that you want, again, I will put the link in the comments after I hop off this live stream. And I can't wait to see who's going to claim those 4 spots. They are going to go fast. I literally just opened this up on Monday and already 6 spots are claimed. So if you want in, if you know for sure that you're in, please either message me or schedule a call. Bye.